The Asian Avengers, so weak.
The Asian Avengers, so weak, so fuckable, bro. You know? Whoa. There's 5 Asian guys together. Wow.
Together. Did you ever go through a stealing phase?
Do I think everyone should have a gun? Maybe.
Or you can look me up. I don't care. I'll fight you. I don't care.
You want to get high as fuck? You like opium?
And welcome back to another episode of Asian Not Asian Podcast, the podcast where 2 Asian guys not from Asia talk about American issues no American cares about. I'm your host, Fumi Abe.
And I'm Mike Nguyen.
Today is Saturday, February 20th. If you are new to this podcast, be sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We've got that. And also join our Patreon. What is Patreon? Well, we're just regular dudes, and this podcasting is not our regular jobs. So we need your money, because we know a lot of you guys work for Google and shit. So we need your money so we can buy like fleshlights and other stuff for content. Okay? You're an investor of the pod. So please check us out at patreon.com/AsianNotAsianPod. And in return, you'll get a shout out on the podcast. You get bonus episodes, behind the scenes content, and you also get an invite to our monthly Zoom hangs, and it's a good time. So join now. And by the way, if you're already a Patreon person, the next Zoom hangout will be March 12th. So just look out for a link for that. And we also have merch. So just go to asian.asianpod.com/merch to get your hoodies like the one Mike and I are wearing right now. And you would know that if you had subscribed to our YouTube page. You bitches.
I feel also, I do have to correct you. I feel we don't really have Google Asians. We kind of have, because our fans are a little goofy. So they're kind of more, they're not like the Kickstarter, they're the Indiegogo. They're like a little bit, not quite Google, like pretty up there.
Indiegogo Asian. Yeah.
But they didn't like, they didn't pass the whatever case study. So
the case study. Yeah. They couldn't tell you how many jelly beans fit in a Boeing 737. So they couldn't get that job.
Yeah, exactly. So they're not, it's not quite cool, but you still got the money. So hook it up with the Patreon and check out the merch.
Hit us up. We would like to start this episode by asking our fans and our Mike and the guest and everybody listening, is putting a lot of effort into nudes. Is that Asian or not Asian? Let's begin. Mm-hmm. Well, this week, Mike and I, we don't really get invited to do podcasts because I think people are afraid of us. I think they're afraid of what we can be and will be, our comedy potential. But this week,
especially together.
Yes. Yeah, we don't get booked on stuff together ever. But this week, our friend Katie Boyle's got this dating podcast called The Shift, which apparently is really popular in Ireland. So if that's out by now and people have tuned over to our podcast, may I say to you, what do they say over there?
Good day, mate. What do Irish people say? Yeah, good day. I don't know either. Good
day. I like potatoes as well. Seamus. But we were on there and we were talking about like this dating podcast, and like we don't really talk about dating all that much on here, though we will start because I am single. But we were talking about like the concept of like nudes. See, look at me, the concept of nudes. Who am I? This is why I'm not getting laid.
The theoretical construct of nudes.
So we were like talking about it, and she was asking about how I send it, and in the last couple of weeks, and like I lied, in the last like couple months, I've been everywhere. I've been doing the open relationship. Then I broke up. Now I'm single, but I have been talking to people online and stuff. And I've learned a lot about nudes. And what I revealed in this podcast really surprised Mike. I don't think he knew this, but I think a lot of guys, I will say guys because I don't think women do this, but I think guys will take a dick pic from like this angle. Like looking down at it, like when you're
top
peeing.
Down, looking from above.
But what I learned from the various helpful women in my life, and also I've been going to Reddit-Beautiful Dicks. I don't know if you guys ever go there.
Do not.
Well, I went there because I wanted to learn how to take a good dick pic, because it's not just the lighting. It's also, people always say it's the angle, but what do they mean by that? Well, what I found out through this Reddit thread and through my friends is that you want to tell a story with your dicks. So that's what I've been doing. Mm-hmm. I heard that if you...
Where did the dick come from? What is the dick's motivation? Where did the dick go to college? Who are the dick's parents? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I take it next to my diploma.
What are the dick's aspirations? Yeah.
Yeah. Who was the dick before and who was it post college after reading Pachinko? Like who? Tell me a story. Yeah. So yeah, but like it's really funny. Like the way it was explained to me was like if you take it from below, like if you're looking up at it, it makes the girl feel like she's on her knees and she wants to put it in her mouth. And if she's looking from another angle, like on your bed, then it looks like she's in the bed with you and she wants to hop on it. And I was like, oh, this is so wonderful. So I've been trying to think about that, think about, I'm a screenwriter. I write pilots, you know what I'm saying? So I've been trying to think about that as I'm doing the dick pic. So that was one. But then the second part that I'm not really sure if it's Asian or not Asian is when you send these nudes or when you're sexting and stuff, you had asked me, how I get into it and stuff. And I told you, I didn't think this was that weird that I do this, but I told you that when I start sexting with somebody, I have them sign like a verbal contract about privacy.
Not a verbal, an actual, you texted over to them.
No, but I don't like, it's not like a DocuSign. I don't send over like a DocuSign. I just say like, hey, I'm like trying to be a public figure / am one kind of, and I'm like, I don't want this to get out, and I'm happy to do this with you, but like I need like a verbal commitment from you that like you won't save these photos, and you only take screenshots if I say it's okay, and all that. And you thought that was kind of interesting.
So yes, legally binding, as we all know.
Yes,
completely airtight in any court of law. And I do think this is interesting because I wonder if this is a widespread thing, and I wonder what are people putting into their terms and conditions, right?
Into their writers. I want all brown M&Ms,
Yeah. What are people putting into their dick pic T&Cs, and what are the different clauses that you might have? And then you were saying that people not send you like some, like maybe as formally as you might, but there is that conversation, right? You do have the conversation before you get into the nudes.
Absolutely. And I think this is like maybe, I don't think it's an age thing. I think it's maybe like a 2021 thing, 2020 thing. I think everybody's trying to be a little bit more honest. And I actually really appreciate it. And like, if I told this story like 8 years ago, I think people would have been like, that would turn me off, But like, I think for me, it's like, I just want to make sure like I'm playing in a safe place so that we can like have fun instead of like, either of us constantly worrying if this is gonna leak, because first of all, if my news leaked, like I would gain like 5 followers. That's the sad truth. Because a lot of people's nudes leak and they go viral. But listen, I have been doing Peloton, but my body's not that good yet. So it's just I don't know. That's that's really what it is. But I wanna ask our guest about this because. I'm so glad he came on, by the way. And also, as I was researching into him, I've actually known him online for a while, but I actually met him in person. We actually lost our knitting factory virginities together. Actually, I don't even know. I think he might have done it before. I did it. That was my first time. So he was there when I lost my knitting factory. We did the same show together. That's when I met him in person, I think. So we go back, kinda. I don't think he remembers that night. But listen, our guest today, this boy's got credits, okay? He's a comedian, actor, TikTok star / nice face. He's got a beautiful face, okay? He's been on SNL back in like, I don't even know when. I think this is 2013. God, he must be so young because I watched the sketch and he was so young in that. Holy shit. What the fuck?
I know.
Okay.
It's funny.
I actually don't know how old this guy is.
Because that's like when we started comedy.
This might have been a typo. I don't think this is right. I will ask him to clarify this. He's also been on an episode of Modern Family.
Oh, nice.
And then most recently, he plays Dimitri on CBS's TV show called Unicorn. So check that out. So everybody give it up for the hilarious Jared Goldstein.
Hello.
Hey. How old are you? Can we start there?
We need to clarify. Are you 7?
I'm hanging up.
You can't ask an actor in LA how old he is.
There's so much I want to talk about, and none of it is my actual age.
Yeah. Let's go back. Let's go back and ask. Let's go back and ask.
Okay.
I don't even know. Wherever you want to start off.
There's just so much. Okay, nudes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Let's start there.
I've also been taking some. I don't send them very often, but I'm really getting into it right now. And I find that, like, there's that idea that the camera adds 10 pounds. Not to dicks. Like,
you're exactly right. You're exactly
right.
Right.
It's like I'm looking great. I feel good. I take a picture and I'm like, Come on, that's not right.
Yeah.
That can't be right. That can't be right.
I know. Yeah, dude.
And I'm like,
yeah. You're using like a fisheye lens. Come on, it's the same way.
I got an iPhone 12 for this. Don't do this.
Yeah, exactly. There needs to be a special camera for that, you know? A special nudes camera that they have, you know, along with portrait mode.
Yeah, and I've been working out more and more. I don't have a Peloton, but I got a treadmill that I'm loving. I'm getting steps every day, and I'm gaining weight. But I'll look in the mirror and I like what I see. I'm like, okay, I'm growing, I'm getting buff, and then I'll take a picture of it, and then I look so skinny in the picture. So I'm starting to think that it's not. I don't think that the camera adds 10 pounds. I think that the camera exaggerates your insecurities. So like if you feel like you're too big, you take a picture, you'll see yourself bigger than you are. If you feel like you're too small, you'll take a picture and you'll see yourself smaller than you are. I don't think there's any science behind the camera adding 10 pounds.
You know what? But I think you're right, Jerry, because I took a selfie the other day and I saw my dad leaving in the background. I was like, he's not even here.
Yeah. That was crazy.
About that.
I've seen,
So I agree with you there, man.
What about this sort of thing? Do you have like a contract also?
When you sex?
Did you send
because you're
person?
famous. Yeah.
I can't even leave the house. I just want my privacy back. That's part of why I haven't sent nudes is because not because I'm famous, but because I hope that someday I will be, and then that'll be it. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't do that.
Right.
But even that, it's like, who cares? No one even cares. And it's like, it's not going to get out. And if it does, it doesn't matter. And also by the time that any of us are famous, I think that we'll have a much less toxic culture that would, because I think now when nudes get leaked, like I think the reaction is pretty like on their side much faster than it used to be.
So,
that's true.
You know, I think when nudes are getting leaked in 2024, I think it'll be like a really good thing for your career in the sense that like you now have a victim narrative.
I think what's going to happen is eventually around like mid-career, it's like a mid-career thing. In order to like regain relevance, you're gonna drop the news yourself. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's like, kind of like how some people after a certain amount of time they get an Oscar, they get a Kennedy Center Award. Hey, it's about time we saw the nudes at this point,
That makes sense. I feel like, there's so many like musicians who should drop nudes, like Eminem. Like, what happened to that guy? If he dropped some nudes along with a fire collab with Bad Bunny, hey, there you go. He's relevant. Boom.
There you go.
Where are those nudes at?
And he's bleached his pubes.
And it's got the haircut.
Yeah. Damn, he's so angry. His dick must be angry too, man. His dick
so
hates,
angry.
His dick hates Kim and loves Haley.
It's also got that hat on that he always has on. You know what I'm talking about?
On the head.
Yeah, on the head. He's always got that hat.
I'll say at the start of quarantine, I watched 8 Mile for the first time, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Damn, yeah. I gotta watch that because I feel like I'm missing out on a lot of like jokes.
Have you never seen it?
You've never watched it?
I've just seen like the rap part on YouTube. I've never seen the whole thing.
Watch the movie.
It's a good
Listen
movie.
to the song again. The song. Yeah. The bridge.
Yeah,
of
that song is fire.
Lose Yourself.
It's Lose Yourself?
Actually, speaking of which, I listened to that song before I did the knit, okay? And I was in the bathroom, just practicing my jokes. I was like, hey, what's going on, fellas? You guys like ramen? You fucking. I was spitting hot fire into the mirror. Do you remember Fumi at this set? Because I was there too. I was like, I got to support my boy. I remember...
It was a big deal for me, Jared.
It's a big deal.
There's several.
I know. But was that your first time or no?
Sure. I don't remember if it was my first or second. I've done it twice. I think that it was my second time. Here, maybe tell me if this sounds familiar to you. I had like a true like Eminem Lose Yourself moment because I bombed for the first like 2 or 3 minutes.
Really?
And then I forget what.
Did you go in the first
I
half or the
went-
second half?
I think
of the,
in the
of the show?
second half. Like the first time I did the show, it was a dream
Yeah.
from heaven. It was like fun from the start to
Yes.
the end. Just a perfect introduction to the show. And then because I go back and forth, and I from like here and New York, and I guess I just hadn't thought about it. But the second time that I asked to do the show, I realized like, oh shit, like that's probably too soon. Like I think I asked too quickly to come back, but Sydney and Marie, they were very gracious, and they had me back, and I was like, I think I felt a bit uncomfortable about that. Also, I think I think I had COVID like maybe that night. I mean, I definitely didn't, but I had something. I was
Right.
like coming down with a flu, and
Right.
like before I'm walking on stage, like it was just starting, and I was like,
Yeah.
like I feel like really not good. I was like, but just please just give me 15 minutes. Like all I need
Yep.
is 15 minutes. I will do the set, and then I walk back to my sister's place, and that will be it. I won't. And then that's what happened, and I didn't leave for 2 days. I couldn't walk, but
Oh shit.
but the set, yeah, for like 2 minutes, it was like I was like, oh fuck, because you really don't want to. Like it is, packed.
Yeah.
It's such a fun show. Like if you ruin the vibes, it's like that is not.
It's on you. Yeah, I will say
You really
did
got to do something in order to ruin the vibe of that show. And for people who don't know, this is the Knitting Factory, which is a very famous indie comedy show started by Hannibal Buress. God, I don't even know if it'll ever come back, but it was the show of shows. If you are if you want to, if it's, I always say it's like getting knighted as a comedian, because you are now one of the order of dumbasses which are called comedians, and it's a big deal. So I see you. I understand.
To be knighted by Amina, Sydney, and Marie is just the Trinity, the trifecta.
I remember that night. It was like that might have been your second night, because it was. I had to go first. But
You're like, yeah, you were bombing.
I remember it was a terrible vibe.
I remember I wasn't doing that hot in the first minute or two either. It took me like a while to like get them. It wasn't as easy. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was gonna be. Like some shows are hot and easy.
There were people fighting. I remember this.
It might have been
night. It was a weird night. There was some
wasn't
people
us,
fighting.
guys. It wasn't our jokes.
I remember I had a solid 2 minutes, which feels like 2 hours. Solid 2 minutes of just like, well, I don't think I'm going to get out of this. And then I got lucky. And then I think because it was such an exaggerated switch, I was able to just run to the end. So it was a net win, but like, it was not. It was it was very 8 Mile. There was a story arc. There was
a story.
The first act was a disaster. Act 2 we started to build, and then I don't know.
I love it.
Kai Pfeiffer was there. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Before we get into current events and whatnot, I want to I feel like. When I first met you, I was like, "Oh, I want to be friends with this guy," but you don't even live here, dude. I can't even hang out with you because you live in LA. So this is why I booked you on the show, because I want to be friends with you. So let's get to know Jared. Let's get to know Jared real quick.
I don't want to be your friend.
I know that. Okay, so you're born in New York. I also know your mom is Japanese. You're half Japanese.
Yes.
From your mom is from Hawaii, and your dad is
Jewish. From Florida. Florida.
Yes. And you don't drink barley tea. What's happening with that?
What's going on
drink
here?
barley tea. Okay,
That's
let
really
me kind
what
of
we brought
walk
you
you
on.
through.
Yeah.
So
Yes, walk us
Japanese
through.
mom from Hawaii. She always okay, so she's like 3rd generation, 4th generation. So also her mother was deaf, so they spoke sign language and English, and there was no Japanese language in the family. Also, my mom was just like very much like an American girl who really, really just wanted to be an American girl. She like doesn't like fish. She like didn't want to like date anyone in her town. When she was 20, she moved blind to Brooklyn.
Whoa.
From Hawaii.
25 years old, from Hawaii to Brooklyn, and just started over in New York.
Whoa.
So like I didn't have a ton of Jewish culture growing up. I didn't have a ton of like Japanese culture growing up.
Oh shit.
But we had some Hawaiian culture, which was that we would go like pretty much every summer, and we would just like eat fast food at the mall, and that was like our big.
Fumi has got
Trip
to experience the amazingness of Hawaiian culture, and you can see why Hawaiian culture is so strong, right, Fumi?
Dude, I just went there, and it's interesting you say that, because like I went there, and to me it was like the mecca for Asian Americans and also just Japanese people, because like everything has an Asian name on it. You know, like there's so many like food trucks. I was like, Fumi Shrimps or something. I was like, hey, that's okay. I went to the airport. There was like some artist named like Satoru Abe or something. And I was like, I've never seen my name on a wall ever, not in America, you know? So like, It's interesting how your mom grew up in that environment, was like, fuck this Asian shit, and moved to Brooklyn, New York, and married a Jewish guy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But yeah, I mean,
So-
yeah, go ahead, Mike.
But she has a lot of nostalgia for Hawaiian culture, and that was something we really like came together over.
Yeah.
Like every summer, like all we would do was just talk about like L&L and spam musubi
Yes.
and like Matsumoto and like shrimp trucks and
Yeah.
like rainbow cookies and King's Hawaiian
Yeah,
sweet
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
We just, the guava juice, we just would dream of it. And then every year we'd go, and it was just like, we were in absolute fucking heaven, and we loved it.
I think the one thing I noticed, and I noticed this with like California, like LA, and also San Francisco when I go to like Japantown and stuff. They'll have like a Japanese mall or food or vendor or something, but it's American in the way that it's not clean. Does that make sense? Like if you go to Japan and you want to get like shaved ice, the place is immaculate. You know, the cashier is cute, wearing a weird hat. There's like a shaved ice anime character like yelling some shit in Japanese, you know? But like in Hawaii, it's just like somebody just selling it out of the back of their truck, and it's good. But it's like not that was like my take on it. I was like, oh, it's Japanese, but like not really, you know? Like it's
like Hawaiian,
American.
you know?
It's Hawaiian for sure. Yeah.
There's spam in there for some reason, just thrown in. You know, why the fuck not? You know, you grew up in Long Island. You were a child actor. I don't even know where we should start. How did you get into?
How did you get into that? We saw your SNL clip. You're like, what I assume. I thought you were like 12, but if that was 2013, then I don't really know.
It was
not
not
getting into the age.
2013.
Oh, okay.
We don't even know.
At the time, I was 15. I look like I'm 9 years old.
Yeah.
Was surrounded by actual nine-year-olds. So I was the only one who actually knew where I was. I couldn't believe. I was
Yes.
like, this is.
Yes.
I was like, oh my god, that's
This
Jimmy
is crazy.
Fallon, and
Right.
this is Rachel Dratch, and oh my god, that's Tina Fey, and like we met Tracy Moore. It was just like I was there truly with children who like didn't know or care.
Had no idea.
Had no idea
You
where
thought
they were.
Yeah. So that's funny.
But I started when I was a kid. Basically, like the movie Titanic came out. It was very big in our house. We would listen to the Celine Dion song, "My Heart Will Go On." I was like,
Yep.
we were listening to it one morning. My mom was like, "I love the way that Celine can like shake her voice, meaning like her vibrato." And I was like, "Oh, I can do." And my mom was like, "No, you can't." And I was like, "Yeah, I can." So then I do it, and she's like, "Oh my god, my boy can sing." And then she took me to a Lion King open call to try to be Simba on Broadway. It was like hundreds of little kids auditioning for Simba and Nala. After like 2 months, it was down to me and like 2 other boys.
Wow.
I did not get it because I lacked urban edge, as I was told.
Right. Wait, hold on here. But you didn't train to sing? You just went into this audition, or you've been practicing? You just went in.
No. Just went in.
That's
yeah.
insane. I'm sure these other kids have been taking lessons for years.
We assume.
Some of them, yeah. Some of them.
Wow.
Yeah, because I started when I was 11, and that was late. Like most,
Right.
the magic number
Right.
for like child actors is 8. Like most of them start at 8. So because I started at 11, it was like I had already aged out of like half of the roles I could possibly do.
Wow.
So when I got started, I was like, I really wanted to hit the ground running. Also, like I was so bad at sports, and I had no friends, and I just felt like such a loser. So to like have something that felt like interesting and like an open door was like so exciting to me. And
Yo, you got a deep voice though. What was like? Did you have a high voice as a kid? Because I feel like leads,
I had a
they're
really-
always okay. Because I feel like right now you're
Yeah.
like a bass. You're like super low.
Yeah, I had a really high voice when I was a kid, and that's how I got started. And then you just start like you get a headshot, you get like a cuckoo child acting manager,
Yeah, yep.
which I certainly had.
Yep.
And then you just get going. You know, your mom pulls you out of school, you drive into the city, you read the sides. Maybe you get it, maybe you don't. And I did a lot of theater as a kid.
How was that like sort of, I mean, that's the thing, it was the thing I realized when I went to NYU is like, if you meet friends from Long Island, because it's so close to the city, like a lot of them were like doing shit like that.
Yeah.
And it necessarily wasn't that rare. Like because I grew up in Ohio, if somebody was doing that in Ohio, they're like, what, you're auditioning for Lion King? Like, that's insane. But like, yeah, I guess like, I don't know what kind of high school you went to, but like, how was that sort of perceived within your high school clique or your classmates? Like, did they treat you like a star because you were like almost famous? Like,
Yeah, you know, I think about that all the time. It's so crazy how like little of our lives we're actually like in control of. Because if I was born anywhere else on the planet, I would not have been able to do this. Could not have done that. So that was like something that I'm really grateful for, and it was cool. It worked out. Like I think my school. Luckily, like the superintendent of the school thought it was like really like sexy that I was like being a child actor and like working and stuff. So like if any teachers gave me grief about it, which like many did, mostly white men, I went there. They didn't have a leg to stand on because ultimately like we just go over their head and the superintendent would be like, let him go.
Damn.
wow.
So yeah, like they would just like put my finals like in like a sealed envelope and like give it to my mom, and then I would just like take tests on set and
in
send
the
them
car.
back and stuff.
That's
And
cool.
It was like it was cool. I basically like I was pretty like just invisible in school. My sister was extremely popular, very hot, very popular, very well liked, and I was just leaving all the time because once I started to work, it was like just so exciting, and my parents were really. I feel really lucky that my parents were like open to trying it. You know, at first they were like, you know, if it's a disaster, then we'll stop. But like, let's try and we'll see how far we can take this. And yeah, I missed like a ton of school. I fucking loved it.
That's sweet.
I wish I could have missed more.
Did you?
And that was it. You know.
You know, I mean, obviously you're still an actor now. Did you have like a break? Because like sometimes I feel like child actors, they have a little break where they're just like, I don't know, they had a bad experience, or they became a plumber for a little bit or something, you know, and then they got back into it, you know. Did that happen to you too?
Yeah, I waited tables for a decade.
Oh shit.
Yeah, basically like after my voice changed, it was pretty much all about the singing for me. Like I was like fine at acting, but I was a really good singer, and that's sort of why I was doing more theater than like TV or anything. But when my voice changed, I was like pretty optimistic. It's funny because like the stage moms will like spread the lore of like, oh, did you hear what happened to Gerard? His voice changed and he never worked again.
That's crazy.
And it's like it's like this legend, this like you know, ghost story.
Yeah.
And I was like so optimistic. I was like, y'all are crazy. Like it's gonna be fine. Like I'm a good singer. I like work hard. We're gonna get through it. I might have like an awkward time, but like we'll get through it. Like that's just it. None of that happened. It was exactly what they said. My voice changed, and ultimately I never worked again. But like even worse than that, like in the profit, like I got hired to do like a really high profile musical. It was called Spring Awakening.
Oh, of course.
And it was like. Yeah, it was
Huge.
like headed way.
Yeah.
I met all of them, worked with all of them, and 3 weeks later was fired. And then I never worked again.
I mean, I guess I understand that from like, okay, your range changed, so that, but can't you just now do regular musicals? Because like you can still sing.
No, literally got that. Like I went from having like a stunning, exceptional, gorgeous dove of a singing voice to like a pigeon on its last day. Like just it went bad.
That's really
like, it goes
wild.
bad. Like you have a bad voice.
I didn't know that.
God,
You don't sing
puberty
anymore?
was so evil. Like it was just like acne. Like my nose grew before any other part of me. Like I lost my fucking career. I'm suddenly gay as hell. I'm like, oh my God.
That came with it.
Yo, for
Puberty to hell. Fuck you, puberty.
Hell.
Yes.
Well, I want to
For me, you know, all I did was, you know, sometimes I'd have nocturnal emissions, but Jared lost a career from his. He lost a career, and Fumi's still waiting to go through puberty.
I'm still waiting.
Any second. Fumi's gonna be crazy, dude. Your voice is gonna change like motherfucker. Okay.
Any day now, baby. I'm gonna take that spot that Jared lost, dude.
You're gonna play Young Simba on Broadway on Zoom.
Young Simba.
Young Simba. You got that urban
already
edge.
got yellow one.
Keep wearing the hood.
Urban edge.
Yeah. You need that urban edge.
I wanted to get into this because, you know, as we were, you know, you're talking about hinting about it a little bit. You know, you say you didn't have a lot of friends in school, and, you know, you liked doing the musical theater because it gave you a thing to kind of own, and also combined with that, you know, your mom didn't you know, imbue a lot of Japanese stuff in you, and your dad didn't really force Jewish stuff on you. So identity-wise, it sounds like if I had met 16-year-old Jared and I said, like, who are you? You probably would have said to me, like, oh, I'm a musical theater guy. That's my thing, right?
Yeah, probably.
Right, but I don't know where our producer got this quote, but maybe on some podcast somewhere, we read that you said you weren't really aware of your Asianness until you went to college, because you're meeting a lot of strangers who would often ask you, like, what are you? And you never, I think what you mean by you weren't really aware of it is that I guess nobody really brought it up, or you never really thought about it. And it kind of reminded me of Joe Kim Booster's legendary joke where he says, I knew I was gay before I was Asian. And I just want to, like, kind of ask you about, like, you know, did you live that joke? Like, is that, you know, obviously
100%.
Yeah.
I think like realizing you're gay in like 2003 is like such an issue that it just kind of like takes center stage.
Yeah.
And I think, I feel like the town that I grew up in was like really progressive. Like we
Where are you from? What part of Long Island?
From Woodmere.
Okay, cool.
I think it's where Judd Apatow is from.
Oh,
shit. I know Alan Zweiberg. What's his name? Something.
I don't
whatever.
know.
But what was I saying? I totally forgot.
Oh, you're saying being gay took the center stage.
Being gay at 2003.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think like my town was just like pretty progressive, and then also like I think because my sister was like just so popular, like I was just sort of seen as like an extension of her, and like it's funny because
it sounds like we should have your sister on. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
You really should. I'm really like I'm the Ashley of this Simpson family.
Yo, that is deep. That is deep. But you know what?
I'm 100%.
I like that single though. That single she put out is real good.
It's a good
Oh
one.
my god, the best.
What was it? I forget what it was
loved
called.
Ashley Simpson.
Pieces of Me. That's right. Pieces of Me.
Yeah.
So good.
And then Shadow and all of it. Lala. Truly loved Ashley Simpson. My first concert was Ashley Simpson at
That's so on brand for you, and I love it.
That is
Long
amazing.
Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long Island. It's so Long Island.
Yeah, extremely.
Gay Long Island kid? Yep. Ashley Simpson at the mall. Got it.
Like you have to. You literally have to.
Yeah.
Like she was just the right amount of angst. Like I was angsty, but I didn't have any actual like adversity yet. So it was like this is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Then
like,
afterwards, you had to, you went to Cinnabon or whatever. Yep.
My axe to
Get it.
grind is that people like my sister more than me. So I love Ashley Simpson. I was
hot
like,
as she is.
yes,
Right,
yes,
exactly.
yes, yes. And she dyed her hair black, and I was like, my hair's already black. I don't even have to dye it.
What the hell?
Oh man. But yeah, everyone was just like really chill, and they just like so my sister, she would tell people that Hawaiian, which is not exactly true. We're not indigenous Hawaiian. We're Japanese, but my mom is from Hawaii.
Right.
And one day in school, I told my sister, I was like, Alana, you know that we're not Hawaiian. We're Japanese. And she was like, just go with it. They like it. Tell them what they like.
No.
Yes.
Genius.
Truly genius. And it was the first time that it even occurred to me that like could lie for your benefit. And I was like, what? Like, and that was the difference between my sister and I. Like my sister was just so savvy and like just like she was just like in the mix and like ready to play and like get in there, and I was just such a sideline kind of like correcting people's facts and stuff.
Actually,
so people were just like, you guys are Hawaiian, that's so cool. And also like everyone just knew us, so like nobody was curious about like my heritage or whatever. And then when I left like my hometown, everybody knew me, I moved to New York City, where like you would think it would be like you'd leave a small town that was really small-minded, go to a big city where everyone would be like really like embrace you. But it was like I moved into the city and I was just constantly meeting strangers who were constantly wanting to know, what are you, 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 what are you?
Right.
And then also like as a man becoming a man and being Asian, it's like there's this whole like just god awful fucking like narrative like just dumped on you that it just needed to be like reaffirmed. So that there was all of that. So yeah, it wasn't until like I went to college and got, you know, older that like I started to like be made aware of my Asianness like on a daily basis.
Right.
Also coming from theater, it's like theater is like has always been like colorblind. So that was like I like when I was a kid, I was playing white, I was playing Asian, I was like I played everything. Honestly, maybe now it would be like considered a problem.
Right. Right. I mean, they almost cast you as a lion for sure. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I think, you know, nowadays we might accuse someone of having too much urban edge if they shouldn't.
Damn.
Yeah. So it was, yeah, it was like the whole like narrative like felt like reversed for me.
Wait, I'm so sorry to do this. I have to pee so bad, so I'm gonna have to.
Oh, do it.
How are you doing?
That.
Do you have to
And
poop?
Jared, if you gotta poop, you can poop.
Let's do it. Now's the time. I'm gonna do it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll stay here.
Adrenaline kicked in, and I was just like, "We can do this." But
Go.
I'll be right back.
Go for it.
Life hasn't been easy lately, but looking, feeling, and smelling your best doesn't have to be hard. With a short quiz, Hawthorne makes grooming for modern guys almost effortless. Hawthorne is a premium grooming brand that tailors your personal care routine to your unique profile.
It's really easy. You start with their quiz. On this quiz, they ask you things like, what's your favorite drink? How do you like to spend a night out? Where do you like to go? That sort of stuff. It's actually really fun. I love talking about myself. You answer all these quizzes. It's pretty short. It's pretty simple. And the products I got are awesome. I got 2 kinds of cologne. I got some shampoo. I have this really cool deodorant because I am also a stinky boy, and I think it really helps. You got to take care of your beautiful Asian skin. Hawthorne even takes the risk out of it by giving you free shipping on your orders and returns. And if you don't like their products, they'll even retailer them for you based on your feedback.
With high-quality self-care products tailored specifically to your needs from Hawthorne, looking your best has never been easier. Take Hawthorne's quiz today and get started on your personalized self-care routine by going to hawthorne.co and use promo code NOTAsian to get 10% off your first purchase. That's HAWTHORNE.co, promo code NOTAsian. Hawthorne.co, promo code NOTAsian.
Hello, Tushy.
The future of toileting has arrived. Okay, it's technically been around for centuries, but hideously expensive, costing thousands.
Now the brand new Hello Tushy 3.0 modern bidet attachment is here to level the playing field. It's stylish, eco-friendly, easy to install, and affordable.
Hello Tushy 3.0 doesn't just cleanse your butt with a precise stream of fresh water. It cleans itself. Before and after it's used with the Smart Spray automatic self-cleaning nozzle.
It attaches to your existing toilet, requires no electricity or additional plumbing, and cuts toilet paper use by 80%. So the Hello Tushy bidet pays for itself in a few months.
Shout out to the people who were part of that study. Because with Hello Tushy, you don't wipe at all. Just poop, spray, dry, and go.
And sanitation is so simple. The Schmutz Shield offers easy cleaning, and the knobs are naturally antimicrobial. It is trademarked. The Schmutz Shield is trademarked.
No way that's real.
The Schmutz Shield is a trademark thing.
Plus, every Hello Tushy bidet attachment comes with a 60-day risk-free guarantee and a 12-month warranty.
Already got a tush on your pot? Upgrade to the new 3.0 model. If you're new to the revolution, join millions of Hello Tushy customers right now and have a clean butt with every flush. It's true, buddy. Go to hellotushy.com/ANA to get 10% off plus free shipping.
This is a special offer for listeners. Go to hellotushy.com/ANA for 10% off.
hellotushy.com/ANA. Well, this is the Asian Not Asian podcast, and I'm Mike Nguyen, and I'm the only one here, while my co-host, Fumi Abe, and our guest, Jared Goldstein, have a little bio break. And so while I'm here, I'm just going to go ahead and bring my vibe, which is compact folding knives. What are your thoughts? Best combat folding knives. Not combat even. Everyday carry. This is the one I have. I have a Benchmade Bug Out. Really, it's a great blade, S30V steel, so holds a nice edge, really light. It's got this kind of plastic fiber handle. Nice axis clip here. Man, this podcast got incredibly straight really fast. As soon as you start talking about everyday carry folding knives, it's a straight move, dude. That's pretty much the opposite of trying out for The Lion King.
I heard all that because I have my AirPods on and I loved it.
I know. I
loved
heard you laughing. I heard you laughing from the thing.
Compact.
And I was like,
compact.
I'm
gonna bring my vibe. What are your thoughts on
folding knives? What are your thoughts? Are you guys half serrated, half straight? I'm more of a all straight, all polished. I like the polish. I like the drop point.
Sometimes you're such a knife Asian. It cracks me up.
Mall knife Asian is absolutely my vibe.
Leave a comment below. Leave a comment below on the YouTube
Jared
page.
is here because you know what? Jared went to the mall and he was watching. He's watching Ashley Simpson.
We were all at the mall.
We were all at the mall. We were just different places.
Exactly. I was at Auntie Annie's eating a fucking cinnamon covered pretzel.
Yeah. Well, everybody goes to Auntie Annie's eventually.
Yeah, you're right.
When do you go?
It's the great unifier.
Did you go to any? Did you go to any? Were there? It was hard to find anime when I was a teenager. It wasn't impossible, but it was harder to find. You had to go to the bookstore and there was like a section, and that section got bigger and bigger every year because it was starting to get really popular. But it wasn't was it like really easy for you to find anime and manga?
So there was a Japanese bookstore in Columbus, so you could find it there. Nice. So I would just go there, and then like sometimes I would see Americans there who were like super into anime because at that time like mangas hadn't been translated yet.
Right.
So like you had to go to the source. And we're back. With our bladders and intestines empty, empty. I think that's where your poop is. Intestines. I'm not really sure. I'm not a doctor. Don't ask me. I'm a podcast Asian. I don't know anything. Oh gosh. Well, Jared, now that you got back from the toilet, this might be a great time to ask you. Going off of your little identity journey that you went through, and we all go through it.
My little identity journey. What the fuck, man? I'm pouring my goddamn heart at you.
It was adorable. Your little identity journey where you were so confused. It's so cute.
Like, tell us about how hard it was to be half Asian.
It was so. Oh my gosh! And you got to pass as Hawaiian. That's so difficult.
Oh my God. So you were pretending you were indigenous for clout. Continue.
Dude,
did you really have you had a Long Island accent when you were growing up?
Full Long Island accent, yeah.
Really?
Like I have. There's clips of me So I did this movie. It was called Manhattan Midnight. It was a Chinese movie directed by this guy named Michael Wong, who was like this like really fancy big Asian director. Starred Maggie Q. She played my mom.
Maggie Q.
Maggie Q played my mom. Yeah.
Whoa.
Richard Grieco played my dad.
Richard Grieco. Holy fuck.
Yeah. It was like an action movie. Like it was so fun. It was so fun.
We are watching this for our next Patreon hangout. Yeah, 100%.
Yes. It can be found. It can be found. And like we had to do stunts. There were like race cars. It was so fucking fun. We shot it in Queens. I was like 11. It was like my first movie ever. They paid me in cash at the end of the day every day.
Whoa.
Just crazy. Yeah, it gave me an envelope of cash every day, which was great.
That's awesome.
But also weird. But I had a very thick Long Island accent, and when we watched the movie and I heard myself talking, I was like, I sound like my mother. Because when you're 11, you sound like a girl. I just sounded like my actual mom coming out of like an 11-year-old boy. So I was like, I gotta stop saying orange and start saying orange.
I've never met a Japanese person with a Long Island accent. I want to meet your mom. That sounds hilarious.
Oh my God.
Half Japanese.
If you talk to her on the phone, thickest Brooklyn accent. If you cut her traffic, she like drops all of her R's. You motherless bastard. You cocksucking motherless bastard. That is a perfect impression of my mother.
That is turning me on, and it's crazy. Yeah, half Japanese, Jewish, a little Hawaiian thrown in there, Long Island person.
Yes.
Yeah. No wonder.
Gay,
I mean,
even.
and gay. I forgot about that one. Your little identity journey is so cute. I just love it. Your little identity. Do you ever do? I love when I've told Fumi before. I don't know if you had this when we came to New York. When I first moved to New York, of course I had seen all the New York accent and Brooklyn and New Jersey and all that stuff. I thought that was. I didn't think it was fake. I just didn't think it was as like everyday as it was. And when I moved to New York, I was like, oh my God, everybody really talks like this. This is, do you guys hear yourselves? It's hilarious.
Yeah.
To this day, I kind of wish I could talk like that because you just feel like people should pay attention to you and like, get out of your way in traffic. Do you ever like whip it out again just to, I don't know, especially in LA, looking like you with the hair and the pigtails, and just throw it out there.
Yeah, you fucking cocksucker.
Go to the Soul Cycle and just whip it out. You fucking cocksucker. You took my bike.
That's fucking tight. That's tight.
It is literally when I get mad. When I get like mad, I start talking faster and I just like kind of adopt my dad. And I don't even realize it. A friend of mine pointed it out the other day and he was like, there's New York. And I was like, oh God. Yeah. It's when I get mad. If I'm explaining like something dumb somebody did and what I think about it, it starts to just get like, there's like a staccato and like a tempo that really kicks in.
All right, and we are back with everyone's favorite segment. It is Das Race News, and man, I don't want to say we've been holding off on this, but I think what it is that Fumi and I we're going to talk about this thing, and it's a struggle because it is not funny, and we're supposed to be a comedy podcast about whatever it is, whether you're we make jokes about everything. We make jokes about side culture. We make jokes about Long Island Asians, which by the way, I cannot get that image of you saying stuff in a Long Island accent out of my head. There's something, it woke up something in my mind.
That's a character amazing. For sure. Yeah.
Not even a character. It is a fetish for me. Okay. It's amazing. Okay.
Your dick is so small.
My favorite thing about coming home is calling an Uber and having the driver roll the window down and go, Jared. Jared.
I love that. That's like your I'm home moment, right?
100%. Because in every it's like Jared.
Hi, is Jared here?
You go home, Jared.
Your kombucha's here. Yeah. Oh my God, I love it. That's Jared. That's what I'm talking about. That is the energy we like. But I wanted to talk about this, and I don't even know what to call this. This is just sort of like this craziness that's happening with a lot of Asian Americans being assaulted in the street. This is happening a lot of places, a lot in Oakland, a lot in the Bay Area, but in New York City as well. Fumi was just showing me an article about something that happened in Paris. I don't know if that's related, but I think right now it's and it's starting to like get more traction in the mainstream media. Not a lot, but some. And of course, I'm talking about just a lot more, again, hate crimes, whatever you want to call it, assaults on, anti-Asian racism
sentiment
that's happening in the streets. And again, not funny. This is probably, I don't think I could write a joke about it. Maybe it's probably out there. I don't know. Fumi actually had you had a funny joke about the anti-Asian racism hotline. That was pretty good.
I still do that one
joke. I mean, seriously, it's like and it's crazy too. I think there's a lot of different things you can talk to about this, but I guess one of the first things is that it's happening in places where you might think it would be safe for Asian people to walk around in. Like, I know I saw this video, that terrible video of this older dude gets pushed by somebody in Oakland Chinatown. And Oakland Chinatown, if you haven't been, isn't very big, and it's not like what you think Chinatown is as far as like it being a scene. It's just like a neighborhood, and it's not super crowded or anything like that. It is very Asian. It's very very Chinese. It's maybe like 10 blocks or so, right? The proper part of it. And you know, it's just like there's a lot of Asian people, and you would think that of all places, the San Francisco Bay Area, which we really should change the name to the Asian American Bay Area. You think that's be the place where everybody would be safe, but it's really not. And you're seeing it also in Queens of all places.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know where you know, there's a lot of Asian Americans in LA. Jared, I don't know if you know, if I could, I would be trying to pass off as a Long Island person. You know, it's freaky out there, you know?
Yeah, it's really scary. Like, we have so much to worry about in the first place, especially with our parents, with COVID. My parents, they live on Staten Island, which is not the most progressive place by a long shot. It's technically New York City, but it's really not very safe. You know, it's like in our minds, like our parents are like perpetually 40, you know?
Yes,
like
that's
they just
so
sort
true.
of never really.
Right.
But it's like I read this information and I'm like, this is awful. But then it's not even my first thought until I'm like, oh my God, this is my mom. My mom 100% qualifies for like this, was it 1900% uptick in Asian hate crimes?
That's such a
qualify is a funny word. You qualify for a knuckle sandwich. Like,
yeah.
It's such a crazy number. I was there's a stat that says there were 1,800 attacks last year according to the UN, which is, I mean, that's that's more than one per day, which is nuts. I mean, I'm also wondering, because it makes you kind of think like, who else might be targeted, or like, you know, hey, I don't know if Fumi and I, we don't look that old, but hey, who knows if somebody's going to come after us, you know? I mean, what do you think, Fumi?
You know, you're talking about like the media thing earlier. You're like, it's not getting a lot of media attention, and I see a lot of my like Asian comedian friends posting about it and stuff, which I think is awesome. But I think the part of the, you know, obviously there's that narrative of like Asian people are invisible, nobody cares about what, you know, it's like what happens to Asian people isn't really a concern of most of America.
Yeah.
Most America, right? There's that, but also, you know, I found myself also not, I don't want to say I didn't care, but I found myself also being like, wait, is this like a real thing? Because it sounds so insane.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Like, it sounds made up that people are just like shoving old Asian people across the country. And I'm wondering if that has anything to do with it, just because like it just, I didn't think we could be here in 2021. It doesn't sound, it's kind of like, you know, when I told you the other day that, you know, our friend who owns a Chinese restaurant, she's Chinese or she's Asian American, white guys will come into that restaurant and be like, ni hao, bitch. Ni hao. I'm like, that's like a bitch. That's a bit, right? Like, you're doing a stand-up act. This cannot be real. I mean, you're joking, but it turns out like it is real. And I think that was my reaction for this. And I think that's why it took me a while to like even form an opinion on it, because for a long time, like, I too was in denial of like, there's no way, this must be like an isolated thing. And you look at the numbers, you're like, what the fuck? Where do I even live? You know?
Yeah, the weird thing for me is that it's so like 1-to-1 with exactly. I don't know why I didn't. I think you're right. I think it was like, it's if somebody were to say, you know, if you do if you tell people about the whole China virus thing and you talk shit about Asian people, then Asian people are going to get hurt in the street. And you almost feel like, oh, that correlation isn't going to be completely tight, you know? Oh, I'm sure it'll be okay. I'm sure rhetoric, right, on CNN or on Twitter doesn't translate to physical violence, but it does. I don't know why I didn't think that wouldn't work. You know, of course it is, right? If you say that Asian people are this and that they're not, you know, they're carrying viruses or whatever the fuck it is, and people are going to, if you, in other words, if you're racist, people become, if you say racist things, people act racist. Who would have thought, you know, it just seems so obvious that I did. You're right. I almost was like, no, I'm sure America will be able to figure it out. No, we didn't. No, we really didn't.
They never
we
can.
read Twitter and we retweeted it, and then we punched an old Asian guy in the back of the head. That's really where we are. So it's fantastic. People are doing stuff. It's about being anti-racist. That now they're like setting up like, you know, things where people, you know, can escort old people around, which I can't believe we're there.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I think it's you know, just please be safe out there. If you are gonna hurt yourself, do it taking nudes. Okay, that's how you're gonna. That's what you should do. So
Yeah.
that's all I got.
I've put together a fundraiser coming up in March. I think it's on the 13th. It'll be like a fuck Zoom comedy show, and all of the proceeds will be going to different Asian charities. So look out for that and come
that's
support
amazing.
and help us raise money. And
Damn, you got abs and are charitable? This is ridiculous.
Wow.
You gotta,
Wow.
we got to do what we
And
can
you
do.
can do the Long Island accent. Oh my God.
Folks, that concludes our episode. You know, we hope you learned a lot about you know, that you can have it all. You can be like Jared, okay? You can have that accent. You can have the abs and be what is that word? Philanthropic. Philanthropic. Yes.
Philanthropic.
Philanthropic.
Don't do this to me, Jared. Don't do this to
Yo,
me.
when you say that with a Long Island accent, it actually sounds like you're stealing money from like from like a charitable organization.
Yeah.
What do you think? You philanthropic or something?
I can't.
Oh my God.
My
Put on a comedy show, you're gonna save the world, huh?
My God, Jared, where can our fans find you and your work and your amazing accents?
You can find me on all socials at Hey Jared Hey, HeyJaredHey.
Hell yeah! And do you have anything cool coming up that you want to plug?
Yeah, I'm on the Unicorn this coming week. It's Thursday nights at 9:30, and then next month, Hannah Pilkis and I will be doing a fundraiser show on the internet. So look out for that and come join and help us raise some money.
Awesome! I will definitely
yeah.
send me the link. Send me the link for that, and I'll put it in the episode description.
Oh my
you guys
God,
can
that
just-
would be great.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, send it to me when you send your files and stuff. As
Yes.
always, please follow Asian on all the socials. We're on there at Asian Pod, especially Instagram. I'm also on there at the Fumiabe. That's TheFumiabe.
And you can find me on Instagram at Nice Pants Bro.
Please come to our Zoom stand-up comedy show. The next one will be Friday, February 5th, 8 p.m. Just go to Asian.AsianPod.com for free tickets. It's free. So bring your friends and join our Patreon again for that bonus content. We also do a hangout. It's a good time. So if you love the pod, you want to support it. It's quarantine. Comedians are not working. We're doing shit on Zoom. Please go to patreon.com/Asian.AsianPod and give us that hard-earned stimulus check money. Apparently, we're going to get another one, by the way, right? Biden's going to give us more money, I think. I think.
I think.
So that'll be a great opportunity for you to just go straight to patreon.com/Asian.AsianPod. Mike, anything else?
I think that's it. Jared, can you say goodbye as a true Long Islander would say goodbye? Because I need that to stay warm tonight. So
Get the fuck out of here.
All right, Anos, we love you. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
bye.